Hey everyone, welcome to IELTS Time, the channel that helps you sound confident and natural in your IELTS speaking test. Today we're focusing on the work side of the work and study topic, how to talk realistically about your job in part 1. We'll go through 2 mock interviews, Joseph, who's just started working after graduation, and Blondie, who's been in her role for a few years. Let's start with Joseph.
Do you work or are you a student?
I'm working full-time at the moment. I graduated last year, so I'm focused on getting some practical experience and earning a living.
What do you do for a living?
I work as a junior marketing analyst at a mid-sized tech company. Basically, I look at data from campaigns and try to figure out what works and what doesn't.
Where do you work?
I work in the company's office in the city center. It's convenient for commuting, and the office itself is modern and fairly comfortable.
Why did you choose that kind of work?
Honestly, it was a mix of interest and opportunity. I studied something related to business, and this job was one of the better options available after graduation, so I decided to take it.
How long have you been doing your job?
I've been working here for about 10 months now. It's been a learning experience, and I'm slowly figuring out the rhythm of a full-time job.
What do you like most about your job?
I like that I'm learning new skills and getting a feel for how businesses operate. It's also satisfying when my analysis helps improve a campaign or solve a problem.
What do you dislike about your job?
The most frustrating part is the workload. Sometimes there are too many things to handle at once. Also, some tasks are repetitive, which can get boring after a while.
What's a typical day like at your work?
The typical day usually starts with checking emails and reviewing campaign results. Then I spend most of my time analyzing data, preparing reports, and attending meetings to discuss what the team should do next.
Do you get on well with your colleagues?
Yes, for the most part, they're supportive, and we can ask each other for help, which makes the work a bit easier and more enjoyable.
What's more important to you? The work itself or the salary?
At this stage, both matter, but the salary is probably slightly more important. I've just graduated, so I need to support myself while still trying to gain useful experience.
Is there anything you would like to change about your job?
I'd like a bit more flexibility with working hours or the option to work from home occasionally. It would make it easier to manage personal things and avoid feeling burned out.
Do you work better in the morning or in the afternoon?
I work better in the morning. I feel more focused at the start of the day, while in the afternoon I tend to get a bit tired and distracted.
Do you think your job is difficult?
It's not extremely difficult, but it can be challenging sometimes. Figuring out complex data and meeting deadlines can be stressful when there's a lot to do.
What do you find most challenging about your work?
The most challenging part is managing multiple tasks at once while making sure everything is accurate. It's a lot to handle, especially when deadlines overlap.
What are your future work or career plans?
For now, I just want to gain more experience and become more confident in my role. In the longer term, I hope to move into a position with more responsibility, maybe leading a small team, but I'm taking it step by step.
All right, that was Joseph. His interview really shows what a natural, believable performance sounds like. There's nothing memorized or exaggerated. Just clear, genuine answers that reflect real life. Now let's take a closer look at what he does particularly well. Joseph's answers feel completely authentic. He doesn't overcomplicate his language. He just describes his experience clearly, the way anyone would when talking about their job. One of Joseph's strongest moments comes when he says, "Honestly, it was a mix of interest and opportunity. This job was one of the better options available after graduation." It sounds completely authentic. He's not pretending it was his dream job, just explaining his real situation after graduation. That honesty makes his answer believable and easy to relate to. Many test takers try to sound idealistic, but Joseph's realism actually makes him sound more confident and natural. He also adds small but concrete details. I look at data from campaigns and prepare reports. It's short, specific, and easy to picture. And that helps the listener visualize what he actually does at work. Specific tasks and examples show he's drawing from real experience, not memorized phrases. When he talks about challenges like tight deadlines or repetitive tasks, he keeps his tone calm and measured. He acknowledges the stress without sounding negative. That balance makes him come across as mature and professional. When he says, "At this stage both matter, but the salary is probably slightly more important," this is a refreshingly honest answer. It reflects where he is in life, a young graduate focusing on building financial stability while gaining experience. So that's Joseph, clear, realistic, and grounded in everyday experience. Next, let's listen to Blondie's interview and see how her approach compares. Do you work or are you a student?
I'm working full-time as an accountant. I graduated 3 years ago, so I've been focusing on building my career and gaining practical experience since then.
What do you do for a living?
I work as an accountant at a medium-sized manufacturing company. My job mostly involves managing financial records, preparing reports, and making sure all transactions are accurate, which suits me because I prefer working with data rather than interacting with people constantly.
Where do you work?
I work in an office in the city centre. It's a quiet and organised space, which helps me concentrate, and I prefer that to a busy or noisy environment.
Why did you choose that kind of work?
Honestly, it was partly about practicality. Accounting is a stable field with steady opportunities, and it allowed me to start earning a decent salary without needing to be very outgoing.
How long have you been doing your job?
I've been working as an accountant for 3 years. Over that time, I've learned a lot about handling financial tasks independently and managing my responsibilities efficiently.
What do you like most about your job?
I like that the work is structured and predictable. Focusing on numbers and reports gives me a sense of control, and I enjoy completing tasks accurately without much need for social interaction.
What do you dislike about your job?
The most frustrating part is the tight deadlines, especially at the end of the month or during tax season. Some tasks are repetitive, and having to attend meetings or explain reports to other departments can feel a bit uncomfortable for me.
What's a typical day like at your work?
A typical day usually starts with checking emails and reviewing transactions from the previous day. Most of my time is spent reconciling accounts, preparing financial reports, and making sure everything is correct, which I find more comfortable than dealing with constant teamwork.
Do you get on well with your colleagues?
I get along well professionally, but I'm not very close to anyone at work. I tend to keep to myself and focus on my tasks, which works fine for this role.
What's more important to you, the work itself or the salary?
Right now, salary is very important because I just bought my own apartment and have a mortgage to pay. Of course, I still want the work to be manageable and not too stressful, but financial stability is my main priority at the moment.
Is there anything you would like to change about your job?
I'd like to have fewer meetings or discussions where I have to speak in front of others. More independent work would make the job more comfortable and suited to my personality.
Do you work better in the morning or in the afternoon?
I work better in the morning when I'm alert and focused. Afternoons are usually for simpler routine tasks that don't require as much concentration.
Do you think your job is difficult?
Yes, it can be demanding, especially when deadlines are tight or there's a lot of data to process. I sometimes feel stressed trying to make sure every detail is correct because mistakes can cause real problems.
What do you find most challenging about your work?
The most challenging part is ensuring that every number is accurate and compliant with regulations. I also find meetings or having to explain details to other departments slightly uncomfortable Since I'm naturally shy,
What are your future work or career plans?
in the next few years, I hope to move into a senior accountant role or take on a slightly higher level of responsibility. I prefer positions where I can focus on technical work rather than managing a large team or being in a very social environment.
And that was Blondie, giving us a solid example of how a working professional might handle this topic. Her style is quite different from Joseph's, but equally effective. Let's break down what makes her answers sound realistic and confident. Blondie's responses are calm, structured, and professional. Just what you'd expect from someone with a few years of work experience. She starts by establishing context right away. Saying she's been working full-time for 3 years gives her answers credibility and helps the examiner understand her perspective. When she explains why she chose accounting, she says, "It was partly about practicality. Accounting is a stable field with steady opportunities, and it allowed me to start earning a decent salary without needing to be very outgoing." This is a perfect example of a realistic, mature answer. It's clear, direct, and believable. She's being practical, not idealistic. Blondie also includes strong, concrete details, reconciling accounts, preparing financial reports, checking transactions. These make her answer vivid and specific, so the examiner can picture exactly what she does at work. When she mentions challenges like tight deadlines or meetings, she shows mild frustration, but stays polite and composed. That combination of honesty and control makes her answers feel genuine and professional. And I really like her point about salary. "I just bought my own apartment and have a mortgage to pay." This is an authentic reason that connects her priorities to her real life. It makes her perspective very believable. Altogether, Blondie's answers are consistent, detailed, and grounded. She sounds like a real working professional explaining her job, and that's exactly what makes her interview effective. That wraps up today's lesson on work. Remember, the key is to be natural, provide concrete examples, and show your real experience. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.